Oh, Jordan's such a
But oh.
he's got such great ideas on how to piss everybody else off.
He's the Photoshop king, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
he just
Yeah.
messaged me. He
Dude.
said, "You know, it would be funny. Pool all our money and buy that Hot Toys ESP Vader. Go live on the Realm and cram it in an air fryer and watch it all burn."
Hey everybody. It's Information Creep. We're back. Hooray! Right now it's just me and Greg though. It was or excuse me, Greg and I. It was Greg, Walter, and I. Spiros won't be able to join us tonight, unfortunately, but hopefully we'll have him back for another episode. So we took kind of a break, and I wanted to play it off as oh well, that was just season one, but I don't know how well we'd be able to play that off. But during the break, we decided to go a new direction and not just do Transformers talks and kind of drop the whole read through thing. I may or may not like post something on the Facebook that's just like, okay, here's your spoilers. Here's what you missed. Here's what you need to do to be caught up. So we'll figure it out. But in the meantime, Greg, how you doing, man?
You know what? I'm doing all right. A little tired, a little stressed out. We're going to be getting some weather. Going to get some weather. I don't know if your grandparents ever said that, like mine did. Going to be getting a little weather coming through tonight. Um, so traffic was kind of bad, and people were kind of out being stupid because it's going to snow like 2 inches. But
Oh, dude,
other than
snowing
that,
two
I'm doing all
inches?
right.
It might as well be a fucking blizzard down here, man. Matter
Yeah,
of
well,
fact,
I'm in
it did snow
Ohio.
2 inches. Like everything closed down, except for my job. Apparently, people still wanted to gamble. So
Yeah. Well, it snowed every day this week. It's just today was or Sunday. Yeah, Sunday, Monday. It snowed, and it snowed this morning. But I guess tonight's going to be the big one. So,
yeah, we were supposed to get
how have
snow
you been?
Sunday night, and like, oh, I mean, I'm pretty good, man. Thanks for asking. I'm actually bummed out that I didn't get to see any more snow. They said we were going to get snow Sunday night, and that would have just been a really good way to like top off the weekend for me because, like, you know, I got to watch the Patriots lose a Super Bowl, which is always a good thing to see, and I would have been able to go outside and play in the snow. So, but
Oh man, I was asleep by the third quarter of that game. Like not because I was watching it. I mean, I literally was asleep like in bed by the third quarter of the game.
yeah, it was good. I mean, it was a good game. Um, you know, I never thought I'd see Belichick and Brady run out of Game Shark cheat codes, but they did, and history. So,
What
but
about those crazy fools in Philadelphia?
dude, like that's I really like. Okay, so like being from Louisiana. Granted, I'm not anywhere close to New Orleans. I'm more or less either East Texas or South Arkansas. Um, so whenever the Saints won their first and only Super Bowl, it was pretty much the exact same story. Like people setting fires and flipping cars out of celebration. Like, do you still call that a riot if it's celebrating?
No, I think if it's politically motivated, it's a riot. But if it's sports related, it's just people having fun. And what's your problem?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You eat a
I can
little
see
horse
that.
poop. Eat a little horse
All
poop.
right.
Steal a police horse. It's fine.
Chew on a Tide Pod,
Fucking tear down all the stoplights and then bitch about traffic the next day on your way to work. It's fine. It's cool.
dude. That that was pretty good. That was funny. So anyways, man, you get any since this is a comics podcast now. Well, let's go ahead and talk about the new direction. So we decided to um talk about other things comics, not just Transformers related. Greg, you read quite a bit of non Hasbro related stuff. I do as well. So does Walter. So we decided that would kind of be in the best interest for the show going forward, and I think it would kind of captivate more people into being like, oh hey, so it's not just gay robots and all that. So
Do you know what would help us captivate more people?
nudes.
Panel van. Get a panel van. Pretend like we need help loading a couch.
Yeah.
That's a kidnapping joke.
Oh, Walter, how are you doing, man?
Doing fine, working. Gotta find me a second job. Otherwise, I'm doing pretty good. I can't complain.
Hey, man, I respect that hustle.
Got
So,
to.
Greg, did you what kind of recent books did you get, and how did they make you feel?
That's an awkward question to answer because I don't buy too many books until they come out in trade. So I didn't actually buy any books recently.
What did you read recently? Then how about that?
Well, let's see. I got caught up on the Dr. Aphra Star Wars series, which is a spinoff of the original. Well, I don't know if it's the original, but the last Darth Vader series, which was a good read.
Is that the one that takes place like as soon as he's saying screaming no at the end of episode 3?
That's the new one.
Okay.
The last one is where he gets a sidekick for a little while, for lack of a better way of putting it. And she's got the two droids. It's the Protocol and the Astromech, but they're black and they're homicidal psychopaths.
Oh, nice.
And they're just programmed for torture and murder.
So, like the little dude from Borderlands.
Sure. I haven't played it, but sure.
Okay, well, someone's going to get that. And
then I expanded my horizons and I binge read the new post-New 52 Batman book, and I enjoyed it for the most part. I'm trying to think of anything I really read like more than one issue of. I've been getting into Doomsday Clock. That's been pretty good so far. It's only on 3 issues, so
I read up on that. I read up on the synopsis for the 3 issues, and it sounds like really interesting. Because it's basically it's bringing over Watchmen into the new Rebirth universe.
Basically,
yeah. Actually, reading issue 3, the tail end of it, man, that was that was funny as hell and pretty messed up.
Oh, I gotta remember what happened at the very end.
Walter, go ahead and spoil. I mean, I feel like spoilers are unavoidable for a comic podcast.
Batman Fulton got damn, his name Rorschach. Yeah, I remember. Arkham Asylum. Arkham Asylum. That is messed up. Well, I'm like, man, he fooled.
Yeah, so Rorschach shows up at Wayne Manor and eats Batman's pancakes, and then finds a Batcave, and he gives him the journal. He gives him the journal, and Batman reads it, and he's like, "Make yourself at home." So he takes a shower and he sleeps and he eats more pancakes, and they go out, and Batman's leading him. And he pulls out his little grapple gun, and Rorschach looks at his, and he's like, "Your technology's a little better. You think you might have some to spare? You're a rich guy." And he's like, "Maybe." And then they get to Arkham, and he lets him go first into a cell to look for clues, and then he shuts the cell behind him, and he's like, "It's for your own good."
So one might say that the residents of Arkham are locked in with him, and he's not locked in with them.
Well, I don't know if you would say that because it's not the same Rorschach.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It's a clone. Yeah, it's Rorschach. They're not a clone. It's they called him Rorschach 2. It's a different person.
Yeah, which I'm not sure because he reveals himself in this issue, and I'm not sure who he's supposed to be. I had my suspicions, but I think he's just a rando.
That's kind of fitting, I guess, all things considered.
I imagined he was either the psychiatrist or the kid reading comics at the newsstand. And it turns out he was neither. Anyway.
Yep.
I don't think there's anything really of note that I have read recently.
Right. I know. Let's see. And I mean, and we'll get into it, I guess, in a little while, because I guess I'm pretty sure we all read it. But like the Till All Are One annual, and kind of the stuff kind of spinning off from that. But Walter, man, you pick anything up lately? Read anything lately?
Back issues. I've been picking up a lot of classic X-Men stuff. Spider-Man, but I've been getting the variant covers. So recently I got the Anti-Venom one. I got to go to my LCS tomorrow and pick up some more books. The big one I'm waiting for is for Action Comics 1000, which won't be until March or April. So I'm just going through a lot of back issues. I'm going to start putting stuff together.
Action Comics was that was like basically like DC before DC, wasn't it? So have they kept that numbering system for all these years, or did they do something kind of similar to like what Marvel Legacy did?
They did go ahead, Greg.
No,
I didn't say anything.
They did the same thing like Marvel did, but Superman Action Comics is going to be the first comic book to hit 1,000 issues. Second's going to be Detective Comics. Third is going to be Amazing Spider-Man. So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, I was wondering because like that did kind of throw me off whenever Marvel did the Legacy thing. I mean, it's cool. Like, I guess I kind of appreciate it. I mostly just appreciate like the lenticular covers. Like that's what I'm really after. But I was just like, well, this is kind of dumb. Like I go from Cable number 15 to like 151, or not even. I don't even think it got up to 15. It was like 8 or 9 or some shit like that. But still pretty cool nonetheless. But I saw like starting at number 700 for Mighty Thor that they were doing the whole Death of Thor thing. So I'd kind of put the books down whenever Jane Foster got the hammer, and I was like, I don't know about this.
You're one of those.
Look, it just wasn't for me. I liked what they were trying to do with it, I guess, but it just, like I said, man, it wasn't really my thing. But then I saw like they were kind of teasing it as the death of the Mighty Thor, and I was like, okay, they're finally gonna kill Jane Foster. So, we'll see, I guess. If they do.
You're one of those.
Marvel always does that. They always tease you
I fall for it every single time, and I'm falling for it again. But like honestly, I like the way that this one kind of started. I like the whole infighting with the Asgard stuff. So like I picked up issues 700, 701, 702, and 703, and I just kind of read all those in one go. And I can't remember for the life of me this like God Killer Beast name thing, but like it brought in some aspects from the like Unworthy Thor miniseries or Odin's Son or whatever the hell they called it. Which I like that, and I was kind of bummed that that didn't keep going, but I guess like they ended up shoving him into the Mighty Thor for his continued character development. So, anyways, it brought in some of the stuff like Volstagg being the War Thor, and like he pretty much got the shit beat out of him at the very beginning, and Asgard's being like torn apart, and the underworld's being torn apart, and all this bad shit's happening. So, it's pretty cool, man. Like I'm digging it. But
nice.
Let's see, Captain America. I've been reading that. This is the post Secret Empire stuff, and I really like Secret Empire. I really like Nick Spencer's run with Cap. I thought it was really good. But this is basically like his. I don't want to say it's his, like, and I'm quoting someone who just like hates comics but reads comics. But he said it was like Cap's apology tour across America. And I don't feel like it was that way. Definitely with reading these past 3 issues, it's definitely just it feels like an old school comic, man. It's just Cap going and cracking skulls, and that's it. Like that's on to the next issue. Let's go. He's basically like trying to find a new place to stay. He doesn't want to be in the limelight. He's tired of living in like Washington or New York. So that's pretty cool. Tales of Suspense. They picked that back up, and I've always been a Winter Soldier fan, so and I haven't read issue number 2 yet, but the kind of premise of where it was picking up, I want to say that it's called like the Red Ledger story or something like that, but it basically follows Hawkeye and Bucky because they're trying to find Black Widow, who everyone saw and assumed died during Secret Empire. But there's a lot of these like assassinations and other like espionage things going on that like only she could do, and so they're both kind of searching her out, and they're tracking her, and like she's even like they even saw like some of her calling cards, which were she leaves like a Black Widow hourglass wherever she's about to kill a target or kidnap someone or do whatever her spy crime bullshit is. So it was a good read, man. It was like I'm looking forward to seeing what else they'll do with Tales of Suspense. Other than that, man, I'm reading Cable and Weapon X. They're okay. It's like I'm just reading them because I feel like I'm obligated to like finish up whatever story arc I'm on. Cable's been pretty good, but and Weapon X it just started getting good again. So but.
What was I reading? Well, I'm waiting for them to bring back Wolverine. Well, actually, he is back. So.
Yeah. So I was seeing that with like it's Infinity Countdown. It's gonna be like a 4 or 5 issue miniseries, and like these key people have like an Infinity Stone. Like Wolverine, I think he has the Space Stone.
Yep.
So, and it's like it's the Wolverine. It's the one that got encased in adamantium like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, so, which to me still doesn't make sense to this day. I'm like, really? You guys going to encase them? And let's not forget Jean Grey is back there too. The original.
Yeah, well, I'm sure like, and I guess we can get into it here later, but like I want to say like it was just legal bullshit, like I'm sure that a lot of it had to do with Marvel wanting to get their properties back. Which obviously now we know that they have. So, but I guess it was to kind of pave way for X-23 to carry that mantle, and you had Old Man Logan in the same universe. Well, later on they brought in Old Man Logan, I guess. But
what's interesting about them getting their properties back as far as the film goes? There are absolutely no plans. Like they haven't even discussed it yet. Like what they're going to do with it.
Man, like I don't see why not. Like that would have been.
So it's
I wonder if like they had a feeling they were going to get it back, and they've already just discussed it, and like now they're just waiting on everything to go through.
Well, this is what they're going to have to do after the Avengers. They're going to have to do Secret Wars. That's what they're going to have to do.
That'd be great, but man, I feel like they need to do something with the X-Men because like Fox has kind of fucked that up. I feel like they got good actors and everything on that X-Men team, but story-wise, Jesus, man, it's a mess.
You have to read the comic book storyline first to get a better understanding of it. What was it? Days of Future Past was pretty good. The one with Apocalypse.
But that's the thing. Like Days of Future Past was it allowed them to kind of rewrite everything to where they could go in and go forward with like Apocalypse and what they're doing Phoenix next, right? Or Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, Dark Phoenix. I don't know why they're going with Dark Phoenix when they should have went with Phoenix first. Phoenix would have been the first, and then you go with Dark Phoenix.
Because she went Phoenix for 10 seconds at the end of Apocalypse, so.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Guess they'll figure it out. Speaking of Avengers, though, I've been reading that too. I picked that up at 675, and that's interesting. Someone stole Earth, and yeah, that's it's of course it's a weekly, so like you don't get I feel like in weekly books opposed to like bi-weekly or even monthly publications, like I don't feel like you get as much meat and potatoes. It seems like it's a lot of focus on details, but little going forward, it seems. So, but I'm gonna ride that out for all 16 issues, and if I like where it's going, I'll probably hang on to it. But I have been known to to drop books prematurely, because I dropped Blue and Gold prematurely, and now I'm kicking myself in the teeth because like I heard that really picked up, and I dropped it right before Secret Empire, and I know the Mutant Nation had a lot to play in that, so that kind of sucks too. But well,
Yeah,
you said something about a Thanos event coming up.
Yeah, that might be the one you're talking about, you know, because something's supposed to happen to where Wolverine leaves like a mystery and it leads into something. I don't know what it is. So it's a lot of stuff that's going on.
Yeah, I know they've really been pitching this whole like where's Wolverine or find Wolverine or whatever in a lot of books. Like I saw it in I want to say it was Cap 697. He showed up at it was either he showed up at the end of that or he showed up at the end of he showed up at the end of that. He showed up in a bar. He was like, "Hey, I'm looking for a buddy of mine, 6'5", 300 pounds, real American." But then he showed up. He also showed up at the end of Mighty Thor, and he was just like, "Hey, I'm looking for this broad I used to know. Heard she checked in, not feeling too well." You know, so it's cool, like them putting in those little things here and there at the end. But it's not gonna make me like go and pick up the other 5 or 6 books that are coming out, like that has his appearances in them. Like, I think it's neat though.
Yeah, it's just with Marvel, with Def don't mean anything. It's just a selling point there to them. Just like they brought back, I guess they're supposed to be bringing back Bruce Banner Hulk. So it's just but
again, they killed him off for Civil War 2, and then like he came back for a few panels in Secret Empire, and then like he just kind of magically died at the end of that particular issue. So yeah, I don't know, man. Marvel Creative is and I hate to say it because I love the Marvel characters. Like I've always been more of a Marvel fan than I have like with DC characters. I mean, everyone loves Batman, and I love Batman, but Marvel, dude, I feel like they're dropping the ball in some of these aspects. But other than that, I mean, you know, recent Transformer stuff, Till All Are One, Transformers versus the Visionaries, or the Till All Are One annual that kind of wrapped up that. Transformers Visionaries, we got Lost Light number 13 and Optimus Prime number 14. And all of this is kind of coming out of the last issue of First Strike, which is kind of interesting, I guess. Like I wasn't a big fan of the end of First Strike. I didn't like how it just had a very weird ending. But you know, after that, Till All Are One annual, Windblade becoming like president of Cybertron or whatever. I feel like we all kind of saw that coming. Like I didn't think that was much of a surprise. Starscream's been a pretty awesome dictator for
10 years.
That's actually the only reason I bothered to finish that book. Was because I read in another one that Starscream finally got his what was coming to him. I had to know what happened.
But it's like he didn't get it in a sense that like you thought he would have gotten it. You know, like it was his own doing. It was like his own will, and you know, it was interesting. It was definitely an interesting read. So All Are One was a good series, I felt, and I mean, it had like a few issues of like, what the fuck was this even about? But for the most part, it was like just spot on for the whole 12 issues in the annual. But we see like the Optimus Prime book is starting to pick up some of those themes and tones, and also dealing with the fallout from First Strike, which is interesting, I guess. I mean, I felt like both of those books were definitely more closely woven together than, say, Lost Light. Like Lost Light, they're still doing their own thing, which is good. I like that. And what was it? The end of Lost Light number 12. They found Cyber Utopia, or what we assume is Cyber Utopia. And then Lost Light number 13, kind of confirming Tailgate's dead.
Yeah.
Like that was, man, I felt like that was such a shitty cop out. Like, okay, we know he's in there with the radiation turned up to 11, and Fangry is just kind of running around, shitting in the yard, tossing dirt up on it or whatever. But I just, man, I like it. They wouldn't. Like, it was just like they just kind of wrote it off. Like a fan favorite character like that, I feel like James Roberts is really good at killing, characters off, especially like characters that he writes you to like love, and then oh well, he just dissolved because radiation. Like, okay, I felt like that was poor writing, and that's one of the first times I think I've said that about Roberts' writing style. I'm hoping that something happened and some kind of MacGuffin thing went through and Tailgate's still alive somewhere, but I doubt it. I mean, he wrote him into a nigh indestructible force, so we'll see. But then more kind of threads happening with Lost Light right now. Like, 10 is apparently sentient. He can say more than just 10 now. Ratchet turned into all gray bullshit, and Cyclonus is wanting to fight everybody. And
Megatron's still out there somewhere.
Yeah, Megatron, he's actually fighting a good fight now, we assume. And Chrome Dome and Rewind are pushing personal boundaries inside of Roller, which I thought that shit was kind of funny, honestly. Other than that, man, I think that was our most recent pickups. So we have
let
a couple
me
of
get
topics.
this there straight. Where is Megatron been at? I haven't seen him.
Well, at the end of what was it, issue 6? He got left behind in the Functionist universe because his buddy that he used to write poetry with lied to him. Topics. If you guys are ready for topics, we got a couple. Figured we would come out swinging with some hot button issues.
Like our peeners?
Ooh. So our first topic is, and this is kind of, I guess, tongue-in-cheek to a dude that I want to say he named his channel after this, but I can't really remember. I've only caught a couple of his videos, but anyways, diversity in comics. When do you feel that it hurts, and when do you feel that it helps? So, Greg?
Well, I mean, I always think there should be diversity in comics. I mean, there wasn't for the longest time because, like, when comics really got going, like with Batman and Superman and whatever, I mean, it was a pretty different time for America. So you had like masculine, white, strong men. I mean, that was the thing. And then during the 60s and the 70s, you started getting like Black Panther and Luke Cage and things like that, and it fit with the times. And like, I wasn't around back then, but I don't know if there was a big backlash to it. But for some reason now, when you start adding diversity in terms of like gender and sexual orientation and things like that, there's this backlash from people. And like, I think a lot of it's trolling, and I think a lot of it's just fucking loser, shitty people. But like, to say that adding diversity is pandering to a certain type of people. I mean, what you're saying is you're pandering to minorities, and I'm like, why wouldn't you want to make your book as successful as possible? I don't know. I it's just like a lot of things that are going on right now and get discussed. Like, it's not so much the issue at hand or the issue on topic, which is the diversity in comics. It's more like, why does it offend these people so much? And like, I think there's an underlying issue just past like Thor's a man, you know what I mean? Or like
oh, fucking
Captain
cutting deep
Marvel.
already, huh?
Captain Marvel's not a Muslim, you know what I mean? Like, I think there's more to it than just what's scratched on the surface. And like, yeah.
And see, I feel like, I mean, obviously, you talked about how like back in the day, whenever they started adding in, diverse characters, like there also wasn't an internet for millions of people to collectively like bitch and groan about back then. Yeah, and I feel like like the internet has just fucking ruined us. But
well, didn't you have letter sections? Did you have letter sections that far back? I really don't know.
I want to say there was actually in Tales of Suspense 100. That was something I forgot to mention about the book. At the end of it, they actually pulled letters that they received, after issue 99 from like 1968 or whatever. And so like the editor just decided to pull those letters and respond to them, which nice. I thought was was really cool. And like some of the language in that, like it was pretty funny. But
I had an interesting read. I read an article and then it linked me to an actual like archive. When everyone was like pretending to be pissed off about The Last Jedi, whether you were or you weren't, I mean, whatever. And people were like, what, I wonder what reactions to Empire Strikes Back were. And in Starlog magazine, there's an archive of the letter sections from during when that movie came out. And it's like the same kind of comments. It's like this exact same kind of shit.
Really?
People don't like how this was changed, and since when is this the Force? And why did so and so act like this? And this isn't what I thought was going to happen. And it's like almost the exact same kind of shit. So there's always
there's always going to be shitty people.
But that was the internet for the time, and that was the forum for people to complain. But they complained, and they did so without everyone else seeing it. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong to complain. Like, I'm not going to say like, I'm not going to judge your opinion unless it's like harmful to someone else. But with the internet, everybody has a fucking spotlight. So, I mean, I don't think the reaction is that much different. Like I said, when I mentioned like the 60s and 70s with like Luke Cage, like I don't know of any specific incidents of outrage, but at the same time, I wasn't around, and like that stuff's not preserved like things are now.
Yeah,
so
I would also feel that I would think that, especially with like the letter section, I would feel that Marvel would, or whoever was in that department, I would feel like they would skim through, and if it was some super hateful shit, that like it probably got skipped over. I mean, they're trying to sell these books and do this and do that. So
that's one thing I like about The Walking Dead letter section is they publish a lot of that shit.
Just like
people are bitching about all the gay shit. And there's all these there's like 2 sets of gay couples now, or 2 gay couples. I guess sets is redundant, and it's all gay. The whole book is just gay shit now, and they publish it and they address it, and they respond in kind. And like Kirkman's like, you might have to write a couple more gay characters just because of your letter. It seems like we're doing our job.
Yeah,
and it's just like I don't understand why it's like people like are so worried that a particular medium of art, or I guess you could say art or storytelling, would cater to the evolution of its audience. Like, I don't understand why that threatens so many people unless there's an underlying issue. Like, I wouldn't make Tony Stark I wouldn't make Tony Stark gay. But if he was to be replaced by, say, a black girl, I wouldn't have any problem with that. You know what I mean? Like, it pushes the story forward and keeps it fresh.
Yeah, kind of like, and kind of touching on that, like, I remember seeing a lot of the kind of backlash of, oh, what the fuck is Ironheart? Like no, that's the next logical progression. Like Tony Stark, you have several characters like Tony Stark, and they've been through and they've done and they've seen and they've been a part of everything. Like at some point, it becomes impossible to not rehash, and it's not like you can really go back and change up the past of these characters too often. I mean, it still happens, and hooray for alternate universes and all that other mess. But for your main universe stuff, like the Riri Williams Like that was a good. I felt like that was a good choice to go in. She's a new character. She's got a different backstory compared to Tony Stark's backstory, and you know, there's a lot of cool stuff that you could do with that, opposed to like another Tony Stark carbon copy. Oh, rich kid, you know, genius or whatever. Like, yeah, let's tell that story again. I wonder when he's going to become an alcoholic. So, like, it's. Now, but I do kind of want to touch on that. Like, you know, then there's and I read it, I bitch about it, and honestly, most of the things that I bitch about in Sitterson's G.I. Joe run was I just didn't like the way that he handled characters that I liked. It wasn't that, you know, oh, now Salvo's a, you know, big burly woman, which I honestly I did think was kind of stupid, but and I thought his reasoning behind it was equally stupid, but you know, that's neither here nor there. Like he didn't want like a big white dude with the right of might on his shirt, and I was like, well, that's the character, and like if you're making it racist, then it's racist. If you're not, then you know it's not. It's just a dude with big ass guns. Like that's the right of might. But that's, you know, that's a different deal altogether. But like I feel like he's doing it strictly to alienate what he would have felt like the Hama G.I. Joe guys, you know, are from, you know, back in the day, what, 30 years ago, 30, 40, however many years ago. And I mean, on top of that, it was poor writing, but I'm still reading it. I'm still picking up issue number 2. But like I thought a lot of the shit that he did was cool. Like, you know, okay, Scarlett's in charge of G.I. Joe. That's new. That's different. Let's go for it. You know, I didn't like the fact that Quick Kick whooped Snake Eyes, but I mean that's him not handling my favorite characters the way that I feel that they should be handled.
Wait, what's he doing with Quick Kick? I'm sorry, I haven't read that book. You kind of cut out there.
Oh, okay. Basically, Quick Kick had something he had to prove, I guess, and Snake Eyes was kind of acting out. Snake Eyes was doing his own thing because I mean he's Snake Eyes, and so they had a little fight, and at the end of it, Quick Kick he was basically the better martial artist, and I thought that was bullshit. You know, that's one of those, like, Snake Eyes has always kind of been the best. And there's a reason why, you know, he should stay the best. And I just thought it was poor. Just okay, let's make someone better than Snake Eyes, like just to make him better, just because it adds more to, you know, whatever he was trying to do at that point. Yeah, it was bad, but whatever. I mean, I'm still supporting it with my dollars. So
now let me ask you this, because I wasn't I was away during this period, but when they did House of M, right, where you know, Scarlet Witch is having like her mental issues and blah blah blah, they were trying to cater to a generation where mental illness was accepted and more properly diagnosed and treated. Did people get upset about that? Was that considered pandering?
Like that's like I don't know. That's, you know, it's interesting if that was the case. But I mean, do you feel that it was?
Oh no, not at all.
Like, yeah, I was gonna say, like, I really don't either. But a lot of it, I think, depends on the writer. Like, I didn't drop Thor because, oh, it's a chick. You know, I dropped Thor because, like, I don't really give a fuck what Jane Foster has to bring to the character. Like, you know, I saw how it was pitched. You know, Jane Foster has cancer, going through, you know, all this you know, like chemotherapy and stuff, and every time she, you know, uses the power of Thor, that it kind of flushes her system, so she's not going to get any better. I was like, well, she's clearly going to die pretty soon, and you know, the reason that the hammer allowed her to use it is because you know, there was so much doubt in Odin's son, and you know, blah blah blah. Like, you know, I get it. I lost interest in it because I could see where it was going to go. But it wasn't like I don't feel like Jason Aaron did that to pander directly to like female readers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like other than that, like I feel like in general though it helps. It is good. Like it's good to get new characters, and a lot of people bitch about whenever it's, you know, changing old characters. But
well, I'm sure Walt, what do you think about it? You've been quiet.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Me being like a long-time reader and all, there was, I'll give you guys a prime example, and this was Outrage. And this happened like 10 years ago, where Joe Q wanted to break up the marriage of Mary Jane and Peter Parker. You don't have your number one superhero all the time sell his soul to the devil, and that's what he did to Mephisto. Yeah. And when that happened, Joe Q got answered a lot of questions up here at Wizard World, and he avoided all of them. But otherwise, I have seen this so many times, you know, I'll say like this. The comic book reader can get mad and say, well, I'm going to quit reading. Guess what? They're not going to quit because they have to continue getting that run, just like me. I didn't quit Amazing Spider-Man. I'm still reading it there to this day.
Real quick, I'm sorry to derail you, but didn't Mary Jane end up getting with Tony Stark?
Yeah, somewhat, but she's in his book, so it's, man, to me, it's a Joe Quesada thing. That's what's going on with Marvel. It's a Joe Quesada thing, and a lot of it has to deal with ego behind it, you know. I mean,
now with the Mary Jane. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say with the Mary Jane Tony Stark thing, she's like his assistant, and then I think like did it go any further than people just like made rumors about them, or did they actually have any sort of?
No, they have not had any sort of thing there yet. It was just rumors.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just want to make sure.
It's happening off panel.
But the talk of it is there's this widespread talk. I don't know how true it is. They want Peter Parker and Mary Jane to get back together again. And it should be that way, you know? I mean, they were married for over 20 years? You know, so I'm just trying to figure out the words I can say. To me personally, it's an ego problem. But I'm gonna go another place here. The selling part that they did was the Peter Parker and Doc Ock switch, the Superior Spider-Man, and that sold pretty well. Reference IDW Megatron, Decepticon the Autobot, and people were outraged about Megatron becoming an Autobot. They did not like that one bit.
Yeah. That was I still like seeing those comments pop up. Like, dude, that shit happened a long time ago. Like it's time to get over it. You know, like
they can't get over it.
After a certain point, it's time to get over it.
Want to know why? I tell you why. You got some of the most hardcore G1 fans that want this Autobot versus Decepticon war. And the problem with people is, in general, with IDW, they can't accept the fact that, well, why does everything gotta be storytelling? Why can't we get a war or something? You know what I'm saying? So that is, and some of them have problems with Roberts, him and his writing. And I'm like, what is the problem here?
Again, man, I feel like a lot of that kind of comes down to just the problem with that is a lot like of what we were talking about here. Like when comics get a little diverse, you know, like it and a lot of it started, you know, with like I've never really seen the whole genders and robots things, but people like totally went off the rails when it was like, oh, why is every robot gay? And James Roberts like, and it's like that doesn't like it doesn't work like that. Like, I mean, if it works like that for someone, cool. If it doesn't work like that for you, it doesn't have to be that way for you. Like, I've never understood people.
I mean, this thing's been going on since really technically a little bit of the late 70s and 80s. Because in the late 70s, you had the drug problem, and that was carrying over into the 80s. So it's the whole, gay thing, and that's been going on for years. And I was reading, what was it? Batwoman. Batwoman. She's a lesbian. And people I know, they read it. There's no problem there. So I don't see what the problem is. I mean, I think
it's obviously like underlying, issues that people don't want to say that they have. It's like whenever they made Matt Tracker a young black kid and not some 30-year-old white dude. Like, that's the deal with it.
That's the whole reason, and I broke out of my AFK just because I never finished my comment. That's the whole reason I brought up Scarlet Witch and her mental issues, because did people get upset about that, or is it really just a sexual and a racial thing?
No.
Are those the changes that people really care about?
That was a selling point, because I can tell you, because I jumped on board when all that happened. This happened back in 2002, 2003. It was issued, I think, Avengers 500. And there were not too many people that were upset about it. But you got to remember something here, too. We're into a generational age now. Like you said, the internet and everything else. So a lot of those things play into it, And you got the classic reader. Let's not forget that prefer classic story, classics, and it's like, come on, man, we're done with the classics thing.
I don't see any of these like fan favorites getting replaced. I just see them adding to it, and like it's for some reason like people can't accept that, like, okay, there's an addition to the universe, like, like Carol Danvers, like, she's not Miss Marvel anymore, she's Captain Marvel, where I don't know what the girl's name is in the book, but like the Kamala Khan, yeah, she's the new Miss Marvel. Like, that's like, fucking let it roll, dude. Like, Carol Danvers is still there. If you absolutely have to have compelling Carol Danvers stories that you want to read, like, don't let it take away, like, they'll shuffle some characters around here or there, but like, I don't see it getting replaced. Like, whenever Sam Wilson became Captain America, like, Jesus Christ, man, like, that was
I saw
that was ridiculous, but that was some of the best Captain America reading, like, that I've had. I was into it. I was like, okay, well, Bucky carried the mantle for a while. It only makes sense for Sam to. And then, later on. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, the issue is that damn Kamala Khan is a fucking Muslim. And they only called it the Terrigen Miss because they couldn't call it the goddamn tranny miss. Goddamn Inhumans are trying to make the fucking kids want to be trannies. And I ain't going to stand for it.
Over here taking our jobs.
The Inhumans.
Wow, man, that's some funny shit. Wow.
These fucking innies and these muties. But yeah, like, that's definitely the case. But anyways, man, I think in more cases than not, people make a big ass deal of it, like, out of it. Like, if it works for you, great. If it doesn't work for you, great. Like, I mean, it was really easy for me to drop reading Thor and pick it back up. Like, I was like, okay, I know what's happening. Like, that's comics.
But, I mean, let me get to something here. The problem, like I said, is a generational issue. Like months ago, I saw people were bashing the Chrome Dome and Rewire thing. It's like, wait a minute. The people that are up here bashing have never, ever read a comic book before in their life. Think about that for a minute.
Rewind thing. That shit's like 6 years old now. Like,
yeah,
it's time to move on to something else. Like, bitch, complain about how Cup died for no reason. How about we complain about that? Like, I never got to talk about that, the Transformers versus Visionaries, because, like, you know, it's obviously it's Transformers. It's that Hasbro shared universe. I'm gonna read it. I feel like it's small enough, and I don't have to pick up 80 books a month. You know, like with Marvel. You know, if you want to catch everything going on, fucking money bags. But you know, with IDW stuff, it's, you know, it's easier to kind of maintain because there's only 4 books. But reading the Transformers versus the Visionaries, and like that first issue, and even the editorial bullshit that they posted at the end of that, like, hey, we're killing Cup just because he's dead for good now. Don't expect him to come back. There's going to be no more Trailblazers. They actually called him Trailblazer.
wow.
Yeah, man. Like, I saw that, I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like,
I think they did that. I think they did that purposely to piss people off. That's
I don't think it was to piss people off. I think it was just the lack of knowledge of the story that you're a part of. But either way, like, it was just like, you know, it was a meaningless death just to be a meaningless death, just to, you know, like, okay, we're done with Cup. Like, I don't know. I thought it was stupid, but like that. So that was my takeaway from Transformers versus the Visionaries. But I feel like everyone else's takeaway from Transformers versus Visionaries was, hey, why is Lyric one of them there non-white folks? Like, that was all I saw. I was like, wait, you're pissed off because Lyric's a black dude with gold hair? But Cup, like, why can't we be pissed off about Cup? Like, oh yeah, that too, but he'll come back. No, they said he wasn't coming back. So I fucking, like, you know, it's dude, it's ridiculous. But I mean,
it's how it is, man. I mean, you have to look up your attic. We have seen dead characters come back. You know, there was never much. This, how can I say it? Jean Grey came back recently. Were people pissed off? No. You know what I'm saying?
I was.
When
to be fair, but
really?
No.
Wow.
No, I'm not serious. I'm being contrary is all.
But you know what?
I'll be honest. Like, while we're kind of on the subject, like with Wolverine coming back, like, you know, the quote unquote main Wolverine, like, I'm kind of like, what? But there's all this stuff that that they are doing, but they also could be doing with Old Man Logan. But to be fair, like, Old Man Logan's in like 6 fucking books right now, and it's a little out of hand.
They're milking it. They're doing the same thing like they did.
I don't even know. Like, that's like, I don't even know what's going on. Like, let's see. He was in Gold. He was in his own standalone book. He's in Weapon X. He's in
Blue.
Has he? They may have done a crossover in Blue, but he's in he's probably in the Avengers book. I just haven't really looked. But like, yeah, I mean, that's something else I really don't. And that has nothing to do with the topic, but like, you know, stick to one thing. Like, it's so frustrating. You know, I don't know what's going on when. You know,
let me get to something about diversity into what we're talking about here. And I want to hit to the 80s part of it. Like I said, you had a lot of gay and lesbians, and there was one racial slur. It was in X-Men, Uncanny X-Men. I cannot remember what issue it was. That was in it. It made it past 5. You know, back then, there weren't too many people. Like you said, there was no internet, no nothing. And on the back of the page of each comic was the bullpen to which people can write on in. They can do anything else they wanted. Diversity, a lot of it. Storm, yeah, they did a lot of Storm for Uncanny X-Men. Yeah, I didn't hardly read Uncanny. It was amazing. I was reading. I lost my train of thought.
Well, to kind of sort of touch on that, like you were talking about Storm, I've noticed like that's another argument point for, you know, your typical like just to be blunt about it, you're like you're racist and you're sexist in like people that read comics. Like a lot of people are just like, well, why would you do this? You've got Storm, you've got Black Panther. Like, why does that mean that there can't be more? You know what I mean?
You know what? I was getting ready to say there was no outrage when she was leading the X-Men. You know what I'm saying? You had a what's Magneto? Is he a Jew? Is he Jewish?
I mean, in the movie he is. I don't know about in the comics. Like, I really don't know his comic origin.
I think so, but it was kind of funny from what he did to Red Skull. That was pretty hilarious. But you didn't have this much outrage back then, like I'm saying, like right now, and it's pretty sad and messed up. That too many people don't understand the characters, nor have they ever read anything. You know, so it's craziness for what I see. Fucking crazy. And I never read Walking Dead yet, so I don't know how that is.
You don't know how what is?
Walking Dead. I have never read it. I watched the TV show, but I've never read it.
I was gonna say I'm in that camp. Like my a buddy locally, he reads the comics. Granted, like I haven't really talked to him in a while because like he drives trucks out of town for a living, but he always told me, he was like, okay, like this is what happened different opposed to the show, because like I watched the show, I thought the show, you know, I still watch the show, but Greg, like I mean, Greg's more of a Walking Dead dude, so he'll be able to kind of explain that a little bit better than I think I can.
I am. I was muted and I yelled it out and then the conversation changed, but yeah, he was Jewish in the comics as well. Magneto, I mean.
Oh, okay, Magneto, yeah.
Yeah, they stray from the comics a good bit. They still follow the basic plot skeleton. They've done some things different, like they're still going to Disney World. They're still going to end up at Disney World, but like they're taking different routes to get there, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, I mean it does. Like I know that like way back my buddy Mike told me that like that Carl had already died in the book. And he was like, yeah, Carl should have died. Do what?
No, Carl, no, that's the big point of contention. He's like a major character. Like he's an integral part of the upcoming storyline. After the current one that goes on.
May have been something. He may have been telling me about someone else then. But I thought he said
there's
Carl
other
died.
characters that have that. No.
Yeah. Either way, I mean,
Carl's a robust young man of child making age at this point.
Coral.
Andrea just recently died in the comic.
Oh yeah, she's been gone for a couple of seasons now.
She's been gone for season 2, 3.
You can't sneak up on this door.
Andrea.
Yeah, they changed a lot of shit. Her kid, or not her kid, Sophia. Carol died in like season 3. Her kid's still alive. Yeah, I mean it's different. It's definitely different. And they substitute characters on the show, like where they need to and whatnot. But
that's good though. You know, like it's good, like because I mean I feel like if it wasn't different, then people would they would probably stop partaking one form of the media or the other. But
I think of the original group, Rick and Carl are the only ones still alive in the comic. Yeah,
but I mean, does anyone else have anything they wanted to add to the topic? I mean, I feel like we can kind of lead into the next one and touch on that a little bit. I know we've been going for about an hour or so.
You guys go ahead.
Do what?
You guys can go ahead. I gotta catch my bus.
All right. Well, take it easy, man.
I will. I'll be back.
All right, cool.
Oh.
Enjoy the bus ride.
Well, on that note, do you want to kind of wrap it up because those two topics are kind of intertwined.
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna add just a little bit too. Like, I feel like it's all current event based, and like that's comics. Like, I felt like that. I mean, that was just gonna be like I see a lot of people kind of complaining about, both of them separately when it feels like it's the same issue.
Well, exactly. I mean, especially based on my feelings of the diversity issue, I think spoilers. I think politics kind of go hand in hand in this current day and age. But
well, I mean, it always has. Like, that's the reason the X-Men. That's the whole reason they happened. It was the civil rights thing was going on at the time, and it's like, hey, let's use that to make characters and make a compelling story. And people are treating it like it's a brand new thing when I really don't think that they should. That was just kind of like what I wanted to sort of add to the discussion. Yeah.
Well, exactly, and that was kind of the thing. Like that was kind of what I was getting at with mentioning like the 70s and I mean even the 80s and like the stuff with the mental health issues and things like that. Like they've always been doing it. I just feel like recently it's really started getting like with like this latest couple of generations are the ones like. I mean, I don't know if the older generations took offense to it. I don't know. I wasn't around then, and I don't really have a way to check that. But it definitely seems like it's an issue now. So I'm actually curious if people really got offended when the world changed and comic books changed with it.
Yeah, I mean, like,
but
yeah. Honestly, like, I think that would have been there. It wasn't such a vocal area,
I can't imagine anyone was threatening to boycott too many books because, I mean, a lot of those titles are still going now.
Yeah.
So,
but and that's a thing with like the current times with how things are. People are more polarized now than I think they were even 10 years ago. So, it is what it is. But I guess we can go ahead and wrap it up, man. It's been a pretty good talk.
Yeah, I think this is this went a little smoother. I think once we get used to the new way of doing things, I think this might be positive.
All right. Well, in the meantime, Greg, where can people find you at, man?
Oh, usually the Plasma Donation Center. There's a crack house off of 5th and Central I like to sponsor. I do a podcast called Chattercast. I work around on the internet, and I'm always up for a party.
Yeah, and speaking of, man, and I know it's been a couple of weeks since you guys reached the threshold, but congrats on the 1,000 subs.
Oh, well, thank you. We actually posted a post. Well, I didn't post. Somebody posted a post, and I felt kind of bad because I was like, oh, I don't know if we should post a post yet. Let's get some more subs. I don't want people to think they're done, but we definitely appreciate it, and hopefully we can all make it through this terrible time on YouTube and continue to get our $20 every 6 months in our AdSense account.
Dude, you're not even lying, but yeah. So I guess I'll go ahead and shout out Walter. Walter, you can find him typically lurking in the groups as well. Spiros, who wasn't with us tonight, you can find him running things on the Toy Detox side. He does like their social media stuff, and he even pops on whenever he's able to. So go check out Toy Detox. They kind of recently, I guess. Again, this is, I'm I guess weeks or months behind. But for anyone who maybe hasn't listened, they did an interview with the dude that made the toys that made us, or the creator or whatever of that, and that was a really cool interview. So check that out. Also, since this is on the Realm of Collectors YouTube channel, check out all the other Realm of Collectors shows. You have Breaking the Mold and Enter the Realm. You can also check out Plastic Fanatics and this little Beast Wars show that I'm a part of, called Stasis Lock, and a Lego show called Building Up to It. So a lot of cool stuff on the Cool Table Network. All of it, you can find it on YouTube, Facebook, your various podcast outlets. So until next time, I'm not sure if we're still going to be doing weekly, if maybe we'll do bi-weekly, but we'll figure it out. But everyone's schedule
want to try bi,
depends.
Just let me know.
Do what?
I said if you ever want to try bi, let me know.
Yeah. So until
that was a sex joke.
I didn't catch it. Maybe I'm too young for it, dude. How old are you?
Maybe you are. Am I gonna get in trouble?
I don't know.
Let's continue this conversation.
If I'm a cop, I have to tell you I'm a cop.
I'm not a cop. All right, everybody. Have a great night.
All right. Good night.